One thing that I can't stand as being a fan of video games is the fact that sometimes when we get games remastered or remade or reintroduced to us, they are lacking features or lacking things that were on the original game. That's something that really kind of bugs me, and there's plenty of examples of this. A lot of them tend to be third-party examples, like the Ghostbusters game, right? This was absolutely one of the most underrated games of all time, and even the multiplayer was underrated. And thankfully they remastered the game last generation, I think a few years ago, and it was great. I actually bought it and played it on PlayStation and Xbox, and it was a lot of fun and looked better than ever, and I just thought that it really held up. The only part that wasn't there was the multiplayer, and apparently that had to do with the multiplayer code not being that great and things like that. So that was a bit of a letdown. And there's other instances where we see this, and I think an instance where I believe it's happened before would be with the Uncharted collection, right? So we have the Uncharted collection, and it's a real shame because at the end of the day, this was a really good collection of games put together, and this was last generation, mind you, but I'm just giving you a good idea of what I'm talking about. But they had that, and then they ended up not putting the multiplayer into it. And I know a lot of people think that the multiplayer is just tacked on or whatever, but I think Uncharted multiplayer is actually really good, and I also think that it's really kind of a disservice to do that to people. And I think there might have been a Halo game or two that they remastered that didn't have the proper multiplayer to it. It might have been it could have possibly even been ODST. I think it didn't have the firefight or something like that, and people kind of complained about it or whatever. But this is something that I look at as bad news and don't understand why it's happening the way it is, and it's definitely a video you don't want to miss. Hey there everyone, I'm the Crap Gamer, and this of course is Crap Gamer Reviews, your home for gaming news, opinions, reviews, and much more. You'll probably notice some changes around here, and hopefully that doesn't stop you from giving us a like, and possibly consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some of your free time with me and my silly YouTube channel. It really does mean a lot. Happy holidays to everybody that celebrates all that kind of stuff. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. So many people talk about value when it comes to video games, and we're in a day and age of value, right? Like, we want things that are looked at as a value, and unfortunately we don't get those that often. Like for me personally, like I said, there's lots of different instances where you look at something where, oh, is that a value or not? It sure is. Now, here's the thing. I love the Uncharted series. Yes, I joked around about Uncharted 4 and the crates and things like that, but obviously it was a really good game. The best Uncharted was 2 in my opinion, but all of them are pretty darn good. Now, Uncharted 4 might not actually include the multiplayer, which I actually liked the multiplayer. I remember playing the beta even, and it being really good. Uncharted 4, when it was originally launched on the PlayStation 4, included a multiplayer component that was made quite popular in Uncharted 2 and continued on since. Now, the PlayStation 5 remaster, however, for Uncharted 4 likely won't include any online multiplayer component. At least that's what the ESRB rating might be saying. The news comes from website VGC, who spotted that the ESRB seems to be classifying Uncharted 4 from the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection as having no interactive elements. To the ESRB, interactive elements include interacting with players online, but Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy also both classified in reference to online interactions. It seems like a confusing mess as to whether or not multiplayer will be there, but it's worth noting that more than likely the answer really is that they've decided not to include the multiplayer. While both Uncharted and The Last of Us certainly didn't need multiplayer modes, they both benefited from them at the time. Now, however, both these games are older and may not have the same multiplayer pool they once had, especially with how quickly taste for multiplayer experiences evolve and change now compared to when it was first released. That's not to say they couldn't be successful, just to say that the landscape is different than it once was. Of course, this is all speculation, but if it's not there, it wouldn't be a shock that Sony would likely be more willing to invest in Naughty Dog's time into working towards what's next rather than sever upkeep and server upkeep for Uncharted 4's multiplayer. So anyway, we're probably going to have to find out early next year, but I have to say it's a little bit disappointed because something like 36 million people at one point had played Uncharted 4 through various methods and various ways, and so it's a little bit of a shame that that basically a big component of the game has not really come to fruition and probably won't come to fruition when it comes out as a remaster. It's like those are basic things that come with the game, and you know, it makes games seem a little bit more like a cash grab than anything else. So it's kind of disappointed. And I know some people think, oh well, he's hating on Sony now. Like, get out of your feelings on this stuff, right? This is something, I played the Uncharted multiplayer. I would have loved for it to seen it come into its own on the PlayStation 5. Just something unique and a very unique experience and stuff like that. That's what I was hoping to get. And you know, the fact that they're not doing that just makes it definitely double down as a cash grab and not something that I might end up getting. I don't know how that'll work out. We'll have to see. But for me personally, it's a little bit disappointing to see when that happens. And I do hope that you know, they maybe, I don't know if it's probably too late to actually do anything about it, but you know, I do hope that they can do something. And you know, if they haven't already, you know, shipped it or, you know, gotten close to redoing it. I can't imagine it would take that much time to actually go out there and you know, get that up and running again on PlayStation 5. Now, I would say yes, keep it. You know, if it's something to do with PC, then this is why you shouldn't put this stuff on PC to begin with, right? Like, if you're worried about cheaters, like, that's going to be a problem regardless of what you do. Like, anytime you have kind of that crossplay, even Halo Infinite is dealing with that right now, unfortunately. You know, there's a lot of cheating and things like that going on with the game and things like that with the PC side of things, and it's already all over the place how people are saying, hey, you know what, you should really work on fixing up the game so that people can't cheat on it. Like, this should be something that's obvious, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's something that they work on. But it is a little bit of a bummer, and I know a lot of people that are going to be probably quite bummed out by this. At the same time, I do hope that we see, you know, something from Sony, some kind of announcement here soon. And you know, at the end of the day, that's something that I'm hoping for before too long. So for me personally, it is a little bit of a bummer, but I do hope that, you know, they maybe see the light and, you know, kind of come out and get something rolling there, because I just feel like, you know, you have really kind of dropped the ball in terms of having multiplayer facets in your games. And you know, but you have people, you charge people to play your games online, but you don't really have anything. So hopefully they can get that working and get that fixed up before too long. I would love to see it, and hopefully we can see it before too long. So anyway, with that being said, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. I mean, is it important to you? Do you not care? Is it something that honestly you don't care about, or is it something that, you know, you do care about? I think that that's something that obviously I'm very curious about, and hope that, you know, you guys are all kind of thinking the same way that I am. It's not just some kind of baseless tacked on thing. It's really you know, a great multiplayer aspect, in my opinion, of course. So with that being said, I would love your guys' thoughts. Let me know down below, or Twitter, or wherever. Xbox Live. Hopefully you guys are having a great holiday. God bless. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Thank you so much for watching. Crap Gamer out.